right. Yeah, something happened. I'm sorry. I don't know what. Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened, but I think it's back up here. Yeah. All right. Sorry, we had a little glitch.
Do you need me to go out and come back in?
Yeah, something happened to it. You turn this one off. Figure out which one.
I can go out. You want me to go out and come back in?
No, we're both on. We're both
Oh,
on.
okay.
Okay, great, great.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Good.
I was playing the little thing, and all of a sudden, boop! It just did this freaky thing, like it lost the internet and then came right back. So let me turn this music down and get us together over here. So silly, silly, silly. All right, let me turn this music down. See, it's not even that loud. I don't understand. But whenever we play this other, sometimes we have to play something behind it so we don't get the copyright strike, right? Okay.
Right.
So let me see if I can get this back on the screen, which was this from Murderpedia. So share the screen. Okay, we
Hey,
share the
Bo
screen.
Ho.
There's our
Thanks
friend.
for
How you
thanks for
doing?
stopping through.
Okay, this is Murderpedia. There. Oh, yeah, there it is. Share. Okay, now back over here. There it is. Okay. I know I can't get rid of all this over here, but this is something we found on Murderpedia about Susan Smith. Because Susan Smith really thought after she did when she got her first appeal that she was going to get out of prison. She had planned all this stuff. She was going to get married to this guy. There was all kinds of things that she was going to do. Well, her parole was denied. So I wanted to talk about that because she is going to come up for parole again in 2026, late 2026. So my question is, does life mean life for her, or will she actually ever get paroled? Because remember, silly old Diane Downs thought she was going to make parole too, and she, of course, was denied. So,
Right.
you kill
And
your
Darlie and
children.
Darlie and Darlie
Yeah,
Routier, they're kind of all of the same genre.
you're right. They are. So I can find this thing here. I mean, I just don't know what makes them think that they don't that they should be able to get out and be free in the world after all of that. I don't. I'll never
Well,
understand
she
it.
made this Susan made the statement, that she's a Christian now and she's been forgiven and she thinks that the world needs to forgive her as well.
Is that right? Well, so
Yes,
is
I
Gypsy
read
Rose
that as
Blanchard.
a quote unquote by Susan Smith. And the world needs to give her that same grace that God has given her, so she should be free
Huh. Okay. Well, you did catch Gypsy Rose saying that she wants to lead a church group.
now. Right.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, why is this doing this? Come on. There's Susan. Go back over here. Okay, I want to find that. I want to find that picture right there so I can actually read y'all what it says. This is some handwritten thing that she wrote. Let me go back up here to the top. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It's actually pretty today, which is shocking. It was a little bit wet this morning, but then that kind of stopped. Now the sun's out. Oh, I found it. I
Yeah,
found it.
I don't have any rain. I'm just overcast and cool where I'm at.
Oh, so I'm going to read you this. This is her little handwritten BS, because that's what it is. When I left my home on Tuesday, October the 25th, I was very emotionally distraught. I didn't want to live anymore. I felt like things could just never get any worse. When I left home, I was going to ride around a little, and then go to my mom's house. As I rode and rode and rode, she should have written drive, drive, drive. Okay.
She should have. Absolutely. Get out of my head. I was thinking
Yeah,
the same thing.
I know, girl. See, actually, what happens is the sprinkle donut and I are in each other's head because we know what the other one's going to say and what they're thinking, which makes us a great team here. But okay, she goes, I felt even more anxiety coming upon me about not wanting to live. I felt I couldn't be a good mom anymore, but I didn't want my children to grow up without a mom. Well, so instead, you just take them, you just take their
Yeah.
lives so they don't grow up with a mom. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Chicken.
Chicken shit is right. So then she goes, I felt I had to end our lives to protect us all from any grief or or harm. It's kind of hard to read. She's got scribblies. Okay. I had never felt as lonely and so sad in my entire life. I was in love with someone very much, but he didn't love me and never would. I had a very difficult time accepting this. Well, she says accepting that. But I
Well,
had
yeah,
heard,
because he broke up with her because he didn't want children. It
right,
had nothing to do with her per se. It was the fact that he had children and he was not at a place in his life where he wanted children. So that's where it all comes down to. That's her motive right there.
you know who else did not want children to have to raise any more children? Chad Daybell. His children were all
Yeah.
grown.
Hmm.
So then she goes, I was, okay, so she's talking about being in love. I had a very difficult time accepting, but I had hurt him very much. And I could see why he could never be, mine or never be me. That's what it says, never be me. I was at John D. Long's lake. I had never felt so scared and unsure as I did then. I wanted to end my life so bad and was in my car just ready to go down that ramp into the water. And I did go part of the way. Okay, here's
Yeah.
the excuses. But I just, she goes, I went
But
part
I
of the way,
jumped out, saved myself, and sent my kids.
but I went again and stopped. And when I got out of the car and stood there, just a nervous wreck. Why I was feeling this way? Why was everything so bad with my life? I had no answers to questions. I dropped to the lowest uh, when I allowed my children to go down that ramp and into the water without me. I took off running and screaming, oh God, what have I done? Why did you let this happen? I wanted to turn around. She goes, I wanted to turn around so bad and go back, but I knew I wasn't able. It was too late. I was an absolute mental case. Well, you're a mental case before you did this, stupid bitch.
She
Okay,
was in a mental case when she was on the news talking about the black man who abducted her, who carjacked her. She was not a
that's
mental
right.
case then at all.
Isn't that
She was
amazing how that's
very,
the
she
answer?
was very calm, cool, and collected during the whole, all of that.
You damn right. So then she goes, uh, I couldn't believe what I had done. I love my children with all my heart. That will never change. I have prayed for them forgiveness and hope that they will find in in something to forgive me, in their hearts to forgive me. I never meant to hurt them. I am sorry for what has happened and I know what I need. I need some help. I don't think I will ever be able to forgive myself for what I have done. My children, Michael and Alex, are with our Heavenly Father now, and I know what they will never be hurt again. As a mom, that means more than words could ever say. Really, she saved them from being hurt again. I knew
Ugh.
from day one the truth would prevail, but I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. It was very tough emotional to sit and watch my family hurt like they did. It was time to bring a peace of mind to everyone, including myself. My children deserve to have the best and what and something now. They will. This is hard. It's kind of scribbly writing. I broke down on Thursday, November the 3rd, and told the sheriff, Howard Wells, the truth. It wasn't
No,
easy.
that's not true. That wasn't true. They caught her up on her lies. She never came forward and said this is what happened. She's a big fat liar.
Oh, just call her Gypsy number two, right? Or is Gypsy just
Right?
mimicking her? Right. I don't know. She goes, and then she goes and she told, okay, it wasn't easy, but after the truth was out, I felt like the world had just lifted off my shoulders. I know now that it's going to be a tough and long road ahead of me. At this very moment, I don't feel I will be able to handle what's coming, but I hope I have prayed and God has given me the strength to survive each day and to face these times and the situations in my life. What will be extremely painful, I have put my total faith in God and he will take care of me. Susan Smith, 11/3 of 1999.
Yeah. I wonder if she was praying to God when she was screwing the two corrections officers.
Yeah, that's right. I want to know that too. I want to know that too. Hang on a second. We'll move this around some. All right, I don't want to mess this up. It's just a minute. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I
not
forgot you
one,
could do
but
it from
two of
over
them,
here.
and they both lost their jobs because of her.
Yep. Look at
And
her.
that was in 2000. That was in 2000 that happened. So that was what, a year after this? Less than a year after this?
Oh, I think we can play this video, guys. Here.
30 years ago, Susan Smith went to prison for the infamous murder of her two young sons. In 2024, she came up for parole but was denied. Just how bad is her life in prison? It may surprise you. From the beginning, Smith was far from a model inmate. A file obtained by People revealed Smith had committed a variety of serious infractions, including self-mutilation and possession of contraband. She was also disciplined twice for drug-related incidents, losing her visitation, canteen, and phone privileges for a year each time. And in the early 2000s, two prison guards admitted to having sexual relationships with Smith. The officers pled guilty, and Smith was transferred to the Leith Correctional Institution in Greenwood, South Carolina, where she remains. Although this was another black mark in her record, the abuse of power aspect of these incidents shouldn't be ignored. But in 2020, a source inside the prison told People that Smith had suddenly started behaving herself. They explained, she knows that her parole date is 4 years away and she can't get parole if she isn't being good. After 29 years behind bars, Smith came before the parole board on November 20th, 2024. She participated from prison through a video link. Throughout the proceeding, a tearful Smith was asked questions about the disciplinary infractions she committed during her time in the South Carolina Department of Corrections. Her weepy response boiled down to two words:
just stupidity.
Smith was contrite-ish and went on to say what was expected.
I know I made a lot of mistakes in here, and I have learned from them.
However, after acknowledging her own growth and desire to make amends, the parole board still wasn't done with her. Above all, Smith needed to show remorse.
Hang on a second. We have to stop every once in a while. But listen to her. And crying like that. Don't they all do that? They get on there and they just start crying about the mistakes they've made.
You can't show remorse 30 years later. If you're truly remorseful, you show that from the beginning. You can't go and erase all those actions up until that point and say, I'm remorseful now. It doesn't play. It just doesn't play.
Well, so we now know that November of 2026, she's going to go before that parole board again. But I'll say this, her husband or her ex-husband said he will attend every parole hearing. He does not want her out, that there's no amount of time she could ever do that would be enough for what she did. I agree. So let's listen to the board.
100%.
100%. He's right.
Before the parole board could rule, she took a moment to admit that she understood and took responsibility for killing her boys.
I know that what I did was so horrible, and I would give anything if I could go back and change it.
But Smith wasn't a victim. Smith's ex-husband, David, the boy's father, was there to speak for them and tell his side of the story. He appeared on screen with over a dozen supporters, including family members, legal representatives, and key members of the original prosecution team, all of whom pleaded with the authorities to deny Smith's request to be released.
This wasn't a tragic mistake. She purposely meant to end their life.
And it seems the parole panel took his words to heart. They voted unanimously to keep Smith locked up. For the unfamiliar who need a recap, the Susan Smith case was one of the most heinous and most publicized crimes of the 90s. On October 25, 1994, the 23-year-old Smith took her sons, 3-year-old Michael and 14-month-old Alex, out for a ride. Hours later, she called emergency services, frantic, claiming that an unknown black man had carjacked her and kidnapped the kids.
We will do anything we will to help you to get them home back to us.
For 9 days, Smith and her ex-husband David repeatedly appeared on television.
Hang on, guys. 9 days of going on there lying, knowing that she's lying. But, isn't it amazing how they're all, it's always somebody of a different color, a different race or something that's the perpetrator. They always claim that. Why? Why do they do that? Remember, who else did that? Well, Diane Down said that she helped somebody that was did she say a Spanish person? We need to go back and look and see how many of these cases did they claim something like this, not just any person, but a different color person. Like how many times are they racist like that, right? I can see her saying a person stopped us, blah, blah, but she had to say the word, give it a color, which tells me she is racist. Because, okay, now this is another, okay, I'm not going to get on that tangent. Let's just keep going because that's another tangent about people and using colors. Here we go.
On television, begging for their safe return.
She looks at David and almost giggles like we're going to be on TV.
Police quickly began to realize her story didn't add up, and they were right. How could someone be capable of such a horrendous crime? As a child, Smith had a lengthy history of untreated mental illness. She attempted suicide at 13 and was sexually abused by her stepfather, Beverly Russell, throughout her high school years.
Oh, that's
Although
sad.
she reported the abuse to her school counselor, her stepfather, who was a prominent member of the Christian Coalition and the South Carolina Republican Party, managed to get the charges dropped. During Smith's trial, Russell admitted to molesting her in her teens and continuing an affair with her even after she was married.
They went from Susan the monster in January to Susan the victim in July.
After graduating from high school, Susan met and married David Smith, and they had 2 boys. Their marriage wasn't smooth sailing, however. There were periods of separation until their final split around 1994, which laid the groundwork for the tragedy to come. Soon after her marriage ended, Smith fell head over heels for a man named Tom Findley, but Findley, described by the New York Times as the son of a rich industrialist, broke up with Smith by letter in the fall of '94, explaining that he didn't want kids. Smith's 2 sons were a deal breaker. Smith apparently decided she couldn't live without Findley, so on the night of October 25th, she drove her children to a nearby lake, strapped them into their car seats, and rolled the car into the water. She then concocted the black carjacker story, temporarily winning the public over with her lies, but on November 3rd, she confessed to the murders.
The defense claimed a botched suicide, but she was able to save herself. She was able to blame a black guy. She wasn't wet.
After a highly publicized trial in which the death penalty was on the table, Smith was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. After Susan's 2024 parole hearing, David Smith mentioned in a press conference that his ex-wife will be able to seek parole again in 2 years, and when that time comes in 2026, he'll be back to advocate against her.
I haven't seen any remorse from her.
However, it seems that Susan Smith's legal team might be using these next 2 years to hatch a different strategy to gain her freedom. Back in 2015, Smith wrote a letter to The State, a local South Carolina newspaper, to try and take control of her own narrative. In it, she claimed, "Something went very wrong that night. I was not myself. I was a good mother and I loved my boys. There was no motive as it was not even a planned event. I was not in my right mind. I am not the monster society thinks I am."
Yes, you are. Yes, you are the monster we think you are. I mean, okay, now listen, I'm going to say this, and I know you're going to agree with me on this, Sprinkle. Her stepfather should have been charged with what he did to her. That was never okay. But
Absolutely.
even that happening to her does not give her the right to claim some sort of mental trauma to take the lives of her children.
Well, that relationship with him went on up to 6 months prior to the kids being killed. So she
Isn't
was a
that
grown
amazing?
adult.
Yeah.
She was a grown adult and married at the time that relationship was going on. So at that point, you have to wonder if it's consensual. I'm sorry. He should have been charged for what he did to her as a child.
Right.
But If you're married to someone else and you're having an affair with your stepdad, that's a consensual relationship.
It sure is. I wonder how her mother felt. I wonder if her mother even knew. How do you hide something like that for that many years?
Yeah, there's got to be
Yeah.
signs.
Something. I wonder if the mother and the stepfather are still married. That's something I'd like to know.
Right.
Okay, we'll keep watching this. It's kind of interesting though.
In one call that was recorded, she says, "I've done my time."
Okay.
Whoa, okay. Smith's attorney, Tommy A. Thomas, is most likely behind this attempt to try to prove she's a changed woman. Whereas Thomas pointed out the crimes Smith committed were indeed atrocities during her parole hearing, he was quick to revisit the horrors Smith herself had to endure throughout her life, and how they should be considered in order to better understand her and how she got to such a desperate place. However, even if Smith were to be released, Thomas said, "I don't think she will ever be able to forgive herself."
Okay. All right. Now. Oh, there's a bunch of them, huh? Here, let's watch this one too. I didn't know these were on here. This is interesting. Good. Okay.
Hi, my name is A.K. Payne. I'm the writer of Fearless Paradise, and I'm the winner of the 47th Susan Smith Blackburn Prize.
Okay. This is from Murderpedia.
So Fearless Paradise has two characters. We have Mina, whose name means love, an only child, a cousin, born in 1991. Sade, whose name means honor earns a crown or reign. Mina call her.
Let's see. What is this about? Oh, no, stop. Come on. Oh, hang on. Okay, let me get back over here. I'm going to go back to this where I was. View the tab. Look at it. It's like it disappeared. What happened to it? I don't want to watch that one. I really want to watch something about her. So, where were those? Let's go back down. Look how horrible. These pictures are just horrible, Okay, let me go back up here and find that other picture. Okay. Must have been on this one. Well, okay, I'm gonna have to do it backwards. Hang on just a second. We hope we don't mess up. Sometimes when we go backwards on here, it goes bing and we just lose the whole thing. So let me go back to the Murderpedia page right here. Quit sharing those photos. We'll come back over here. All right. So I'm going to go back out, and now I want to watch the parole hearing itself, because I find those very interesting when they start talking to these prisoners. So I'm going to go get that. And unfortunately, I was not able to get a clean copy of that hearing from the parole board myself from the state of South Carolina. So we're going to have to use somebody's YouTube, and we're going to have to stop, and I'm going to have to put the dots on it and all that, because we don't want to get a copyright strike. But I think it's very interesting to watch this. So here, let's go get it. All right. I'm going to share my screen with over here. I think it's right there. Okay. I don't want to lose this. I'm always so afraid,
You're going to be fine. Yeah. Take your time.
Share. Okay, YouTube. All right. Lots of stuff going on today. Okay. Susan Smith. Parole hearing. Here we go. Now, let's see which one we're probably going to use. We're going to use this one because some of them are 4 hours long. So here we go. Okay. Oh, hang on. Why is it not showing the right one? Hang on. Oh. Okay, stop sharing that. Let me get the right one because that was being share the screen. Here we go. All right. There you go.
Address to the Honorable Chair Kimberly Frederick, dated November 20th, 2024. Please be advised that I will recuse myself in the parole hearing of Susan Smith, number 221487. I was acting warden at Camille Brand Correctional Center in 1999, where inmate Smith was housed, and subsequently transferred to Leith Correctional Institution. I have determined that it is appropriate to recuse to eliminate any appearance of affecting her opportunity for parole. Respectfully, Geraldine P. Miro.
All right.
Thank you, Mrs. Miro. This is accepted. If you would please exit the room. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, the original hearing was 4 hours long, but we don't have 4 hours to talk
Mrs. Muir
about it.
has
So
recused herself of this case and has exited the room. Thank you.
let me go back over here.
Thank you. We have moved her site into the lobby briefly.
Get rid of that.
And one moment as we admit all parties.
The Bluetooth off, so I can go over here and pull this back up. All right. Oh, look, there's all the people on the parole board. Okay, let me see.
There at least, ma'am, confirming you are Miss Susan Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Attorney Tommy Thomas, are you able to hear us?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Thank you. And there at the support site, confirm you are here in support of Miss Susan Smith.
All right. This is going to be full credit to the WSPA 7 News.
And you're here in support of Miss Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, no, there's.
Thank you all for joining. You are before the board. Please wait for the chairman to address you.
Good morning, Ms. Smith. Good morning, Mr. Thomas, and good morning to the folks at Watkins. Thank you all for being here with us today. We hope everyone is doing well. Ms. Smith, I want you to know that we have received the packet of information that Mr. Thomas's office provided to us on your behalf, and we have reviewed that packet. So thank you for submitting that in advance of this hearing today. Mr. Thomas, are you going to begin, or is your client going to begin?
Yes, ma'am, I'll be glad to begin.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Gotta give
Members of the
credit.
board, good
Credit's due.
morning. This is Susan Smith's parole hearing. This has probably been one of the most difficult cases that I have had to put together for a parole presentation. Just lots of different factors to consider. She's been convicted of murder, of course. She has served 30 years, and she was 23 at the time that this incident occurred. She was sentenced to life with the eligibility of parole, so that's why she is here today. I'm not really going to speak much about the crime. There are some things that I want to cover.
But the crime is what's most important.
And that's not out of disrespect.
Yeah, I wonder why it stopped. Oh, shoot. Okay, hang on.
Susan, and I want to make sure that the things that are important not only to her, but to this hearing, this board are presented. And I want to thank you in advance for your time to listen to everything. This story is really a mental health story. Some of this stuff, I've known Susan for a couple of years, and we've been working on this
mental
case.
Health story, okay.
There we go.
First met her was, of course, trying to kind of figure out some rhyme or reason as to, you know, how these things have happened, and was able to find and have someone come to see her on a routine basis for counseling, and also to try to help her, you know, through the daily things with Department of Corrections. As a result, that's kind of what I kind of came to the conclusion was it is a mental health story. It's about the dangers of untreated mental health. It is about the lack of insight, the lack of diagnosis into mental health. And it's about stigmas, old stigmas. Of course, I'm 68 years old. I remember those. Hopefully they're not as bad today. Susan was hospitalized as a young teen for a short period of time for mental health treatment. And not to disparage anybody, but her mom was telling folks that she was in the hospital because she had a strep infection. So those were things that we didn't talk about. Those were things that were pushed under the rug, so to speak, because they were embarrassing. They showed weakness. I don't know what they showed, but they showed up and culminated in Susan as a result of a day that all of this came together and produced some horrendous results. So I think it's important to Susan, if anything comes out of this hearing, it's that people understand there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing and no reason not to reach out and seek treatment. And there is certainly
Seems like you
no
feel sorry for
stigma
her,
that
right?
should be involved in trying to better yourself and help yourself for yourself and for others.
It's kind of
members of
boring.
the
We might
family
move
and
past him a
everyone.
little bit.
Susan,
Yeah.
Susan is a high
He's
school
just talking about your blah 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 blah.
Blah, blah,
USC
right?
Union. She
Okay,
has
let's move
attended
past this one.
International Christian College.
Get to the
International
point where
Christian.
she's speaking. Get to the point
Yeah.
where she's speaking.
That's what I want to
what-
do.
Yeah, that's what we need
Is
to
she
see.
gonna
We don't.
speak
need-
here?
How could he leave me?
We don't need to see
Okay.
his excuses.
And
Right. I don't want to see that. I want to see her
I first
speak.
met her, and I would go and see her.
Okay.
Yeah, because she is going to speak.
This is to give. You know, what is the job?
Damn
We
it.
appreciate all
Yes,
your
ma'am. Thank you.
comments. And again, thank you for the
Okay,
very
he's done.
detailed
Maybe
packet that
she'll
you
be angry.
presented. Ms. Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
what would you like to tell us?
Here we
today?
go.
Here we go.
Yay. Not you.
First of all, I want to say how very sorry I am.
It's okay, Susan.
Just speak.
Just talk with us.
Spew your lies, Susan. Spew your lies.
Yeah. Come on, Gypsy Tooth.
I know that what I did was horrible. And I would give anything if I could go back and change it.
Every one of
And
them
I
says
love
that.
Michael and Alex with all my heart.
Ms. Smith, were you under the influence of drugs or alcohol the night that you murdered your
Oh
children?
boy.
No, ma'am, I was not.
Your attorney talked about working with mental health. Is that helpful to you?
Ma'am,
Mr. Thomas
I
talked-
hear you.
Mr. Thomas talked about the fact that you were working with mental health. And my question is that helpful to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something that you would be willing to continue with on the outside if you were granted parole?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms.
She's
Smith,
putting on a
your
show.
crime took a lot of resources from the law enforcement community.
Woo, here we
What,
go.
if anything, would you say to the folks who worked so hard to find your children if you had the opportunity to speak to them today?
I'm sorry.
That I'm sorry that I put them through that. I really, really am. I'm really sorry to the drivers that I had to find them. I wish I could take that back. I really do. I didn't lie to get away with it. I really did.
Oh, her nose is growing.
I didn't know how I could tell the people that loved them that they would never see them again. I didn't know how I could tell David he couldn't see his sons again. And I'm sorry. I don't know. I know that's not enough. I know it's not, but I don't know. I know those just sound like words, but they come from my heart. They really do.
Right. One of the things that we review is your institutional record, and
This
you've
is
had
interesting.
some infractions throughout the years, some involving the use of some narcotics. Do you have any issues with drugs or alcohol at this point?
I don't. No, ma'am, I don't.
How did she
And
get
you had
them?
you had a recent disciplinary infraction just a few months ago. So why should this board think that if we grant you parole that you're going to go out and follow the rules and the laws of society if you do not follow the rules within the institution?
Well, this last infraction, I was trusted the wrong person. This lady contacted me and I trusted her. I thought she was going to do a documentary on mental health. And I really am not guilty of what they charged me with. And I have
Of course, it's not her fault.
an appeal on that charge.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Okay, I got to go back to it. Let me reshare that. But listen to her. I'm not guilty of what they charged me with. She just said I trusted somebody and thought, I mean, she just told us she was. I don't get that. Do you? I mean, it makes no sense. You know? Okay, I mean to take it down, but what do you mean you're not guilty? You had conversations with her. You knew the person. You attempted to financially gain off this crime. Wow. You're going to be going to work in 10 minutes, but I'll definitely listen to the rest of it. That's fine. We don't, Boho, the thing is I just want everybody to listen whenever they can. That's what we like. It's like, I don't care, enjoy your day at work. And when you get a chance, when you're driving home, please come back and listen to the rest of it. It is very interesting. Yeah. And I just wonder to myself, when this next one comes, this is nonsense, the fake crying and all that. You're right, Boho. It's absolutely crazy. It is nonsense. Here's the thing, though. Even if you were not looking at her picture and you're just listening to her talk, it's not real. You just know it's not real. So let's play it some more so you can get some more of it before you have to go into work.
Thanks for stopping by, Boho. We appreciate it.
There you go.
As far as your question, I've never been in trouble before, and the things that I have been found guilty of in here have been just stupidity. I know I made a lot of mistakes in here, and I have learned from them. And before this last infraction had been 10 years.
Yeah, me too. I should play that, huh? The behavior panel on this, I really should.
Stop making dumb decisions.
Yeah, we will.
And I did.
We'll play that.
I knew it was time
Thank you.
to grow up and do the right thing. I just made a lot of dumb choices and mistakes in here. So I know I've learned from those mistakes.
Except for just a month
ago.
What do you feel
is the most important thing that you've learned while you've been incarcerated?
Ma'am?
What do you think is the most important thing that you have learned while you have been incarcerated?
That I'm a piece of trash.
That the prison has rules too?
That people are important, that forgiveness and love, that family is important, and that decisions we make not just affect us, they affect the people that we love.
Oh, thank you, Boho. We appreciate that.
And not just take things or people for granted.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us today that wasn't in your packet or that has not already been said?
I would just like to say that I am a Christian and God is a big part of my life, and I know He has forgiven me, and it is by His grace and mercy and I have a lot of faith, and I live by that every day. And I just ask that you show that same kind of mercy as well.
Told you.
Yeah, of course.
I guess, yeah, that's it.
The funny thing is every one of these narcissistic sick people find God in prison. Every single one of them. Which is, but then we also have the ones who found God and tried to pretend they were God and take people out. But anyway, they all do. It's some kind of weird, I do think that they think that's their way out, because we're also, we want everybody to be Christians, but not all of us, but claiming Christianity seems to make you look better, right? So if they look better, then they're going to get parole. I think that's what, it's craziness really, but
yeah,
I think that's why they do it. So here we go. Let's let this finish. And then I'm going to get the,
Are there any other questions from the board?
The behavior panel.
Folks at Watkins, I need each of you to please state your name for the record and your relationship to Miss Smith. Ma'am, can we begin with you, please?
I wonder if these are for or against her.
Ma'am, state your name and your relationship. What? Ma'am, state your name and your relationship.
I did not, is it I?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Ann Curry, and I'm a long-term friend and
Ann Curry.
supporter of Susan.
Oh, a
Thank
supporter.
you, Ms. Curry. And sir, your name, please?
And the,
State your name, sir, and your relationship. State your name and your relationship.
okay.
I think we might move past this part.
Reverend Tom Curry.
Okay.
I've known Susan briefly when she was a teenager, when I was called in for one section each, counseling about 2 different matters.
Yeah, she learned how to grift men over the prison phone. That's what she's learned since she's been, you're right about that. I mean, she seriously, I don't know if y'all remember this back in 2000, end of 2023, maybe the first part of, they were talking a lot about how she was going to get married, she was engaged, and you see her all the time on these different little shows, just in telephone calls discussing this marriage that she was going to have with this guy. We're going to skip past these people because I don't want to hear their garbage. Oh, my dogs are down there with this loud toy. I'm so sorry, y'all. Just bear with me. Okay. Let me see, who's this? Let's see who this is.
We are not here to retry her case
That's
in
right.
any form or fashion. That is not the purpose of the parole board. We are here to determine if she is a good candidate for parole, and if so, we would set the parameters of that parole.
This lady looks
but in
mean.
no way can we discuss the trial or her case. She was convicted of 2 counts of murder. If you'd like to speak to anything outside of that, you're welcome to.
Whoops.
Okay, Nina, I just want to say 2 things about the trial.
She just told you can't do that. Okay, well, we're gonna have to move past that. Let's see. Who's the next person? Here we go. Let's listen to this one.
And the room is clear, and we do have additional testimony facilitated by the Office of Victim Services.
Oh.
This way is all victims join from central office.
The victims. Good. Let me go find that behavior panel one for next. Well, come on, y'all, get to talking.
Good afternoon. You all come on in. Thank you. Can you move just a little further around so we can get everyone in? Thank you so much.
Hey, pop. Look at all these people. Oh, they're
Good
there.
afternoon.
Okay, they're
You all are
against
here
her.
for the parole consideration case of Susan Smith. Is that correct?
Yes.
We are so very, very sorry for the circumstances that brought you all to be a part of this hearing today. But we cannot tell you how much we appreciate you joining us and being.
I do want to hear the man
today.
speak.
Thank you so much. Before we begin, I do need each of you to please state your name for the record and your interest.
I think we're going to go past their names until somebody starts speaking. Hang on just a second. Okay, now, I think right here he starts
I'll
speaking.
speak first, please, ma'am.
Okay, good. There we go. Here we go.
So I'm Tommy Pope. I was the 16th Circuit solicitor, and this was a death penalty case. And the reason it was a death penalty case, the solicitor has that discretion, but the reason it was a death penalty case, the facts and circumstances. And I just felt strongly that had the black man with the toboggan committed the crime, people would expect a death penalty. If David Smith had committed the crime, people would expected the death penalty. And I thought it was very important that the portrayal that Susan Smith showed, that she be treated the same. We knew it was going to be difficult. We knew there was a likelihood of not achieving the death penalty. But I think it's important to note the jury at the time actually asked, what did life mean? And you may be aware, but in that time, life did not mean life. Life became life in 96. We tried the case in 95.
Wow.
So the jury was asked, and the judge was required to instruct the jury that you take life and death in its plain and usual meaning. Carrying that forward, the jury showed her mercy. The jury gave her a life sentence. But one of the jurors, or more of the jurors, after the fact, and speaking to the media, said that they believed the life sentence was the greater punishment because they believed that Susan should have to reflect on what she did to Michael and Alex, that she should have to spend the rest of her life thinking about what she'd done. The two fallacies in that logic that the jury could not have known are, number one, obviously we're here today, so life did not mean life. Number two, and you have it before you, Susan's conduct from the day she rolled the kids in the lake. The defense claimed a botched suicide, but she was able to save herself. She was able to blame a black guy. She wasn't wet. She wasn't injured when she runs to the house and concocts this story. Susan has always focused on Susan. I will believe to the end of my time that Susan made a horrible, horrible choice to choose a man over her family. I said the boys were in the car, her wedding gown was in the car, her wedding album was in the car. She thought in a nice package she could roll that away. If she could have put David in the car, he would have been there too. In a nice package, she could roll that away and start this new life with this other man. And she led everyone on David for 9 horrible days. And so as you look at her conduct in prison, whether it was a relationship with guards, the social media, the attention, the conduct recently with the publisher, Susan, you know, she's got people outside. I'm sure you've heard from them that want to take care of her. Susan has always focused on what's best for Susan. And so the evidence that you have before you, I think, tells clearly that she has not focused on Michael and Alex. She only has and continues to focus on herself. And so on behalf of this family, on behalf of justice and the justice for this case, it's not about her behavior or what she would do when getting out, but I know one of your criteria is the nature of the crime and whether the punishment is there. And I would submit for the crime she committed, the action she committed, that punishment has not been achieved yet. And so I would ask you to deny parole. Now, thank you.
That's a great speech. Great speech.
I appreciate it.
Is somebody else going to speak?
Would anyone else like to speak?
Oh, here we go.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman, Chair Lady, and members of the board, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. I was on the prosecution team that handled the prosecution along with Solicitor Pope and Speaker Pope now, who you just heard from. I wanted to bring to you.
These people came out of retirement to be there.
From the case.
Yeah, they feel strongly about it.
Yeah, they've come out of retirement to show up.
Today, I've gone back over the case. I've reviewed the file. I've pulled some of the evidence out, which is in a closet just off my office. Evidence like the note that was written to Susan Smith by her boyfriend, the man she was cheating on her husband with.
Well, I'd like to read
told
that.
her in the note that he could not be with her anymore because he didn't want children, and that they had no long-term future because he didn't want children. And then 1 week later, she's rolling her car down the ramp at John D. Long Lake with her 2 children strapped into the back. She betrayed her husband when she cheated on him, and she betrayed her children against the laws of nature.
Yes.
When she should have been sworn to protect those children. She betrayed them when she left them in the seat and rolled that car down. And she was not trying to commit suicide. She was trying to change her life. She wanted to kill her old life and start anew. She was wearing a sweatshirt that the man who she was cheating with had given to her when she was on TV 2 hours later after claiming that a black man in a toboggan had carjacked her and spirited her 2 children away. How many black men in red Mazdas got pulled over across the country because they were looking for those 2 kids and they were looking for this fictitious man that didn't exist, purely a figment of her imagination? I was on the banks of John D. Long Lake, standing there with about 40 or 45 people, 50 people.
It's heartbreaking, really.
As the tow truck from Greer's Wrecker launched its line into the water where divers hooked it up to the car and pulled it out.
With the babies in it.
Total silence as that car emerged from the dark water. Everybody sitting there hoping and praying that maybe it was a different car. Maybe it was the wrong car. Maybe the kids weren't in there. Not a word was said. It was one of the most haunting memories of my life, and it will live with me forever. And that's the last point I want to make.
Can you imagine?
You're going to hear from this man, and he's going to tell you what this did to him.
I think it's
I can't begin to describe it. I sat in court and listened to him testify, and it was heart-wrenching as he described that his hopes and dreams for the future were destroyed that night when she killed their 2 children. This didn't just traumatize him. It traumatized Union. It traumatized South Carolina. The entire country was in the grips of her lie and her treachery. The entire country. This was a global sensation. People were fixated on this. They're not the only victims. And on behalf of the community that I represent now, I don't believe she should ever be released from jail until the last person alive who remembers Michael and Alex is dead. And that will not be in her lifetime. She should never be released, and she should not be released now. His homes were dashed. I hope you dash hers today and every 2 years hereafter.
Thank you, Sister.
Now, hang on just a second. Let's give it applause. Amen, amen, amen. Again, you get double applause over here. Come on. That was great. All right, let's go back and listen to this guy. We're going to listen to David now. All right, here we go. Boy, it is gut-wrenching, I'm telling you.
Does anyone else wish?
You know, your heart just breaks for the grandparents, the father. They have to live. I mean, you know, everything those kids could have been.
More comfortable, whatever's best for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
I'm going to read what I wrote. Okay, it's easier if you don't mind. When Susan murdered Michael and Alex, she altered the course of my life and my family's life forever. Having grown up with 3 older brothers, Susan was like the sister I never had. I was a teenage mom of just 16, so I looked up to her and even admired her. I thought she was the best mother to the boys, and I strived to be just like her. I would even leave my own daughter with her while I attended night school. Susan betrayed us and took the lives of those boys and then lied about it. For days, when she did this, she destroyed a trust in me that I've never regained. And as a result, I do not develop close relationships with others easily, in particular females. Anxiety and depression have plagued my life for years. I push it away during spring and summer as best possible, but it always creeps back up around Alex's birthday when it rolls around in August, because I know Michael's won't be far behind in October. And then the anniversary of their death on the 25th. In my mind, I always refer to this period of time as the sad months. Throughout my career, the majority of any time missed at work is around Michael and Alex's birthdays and the anniversary of their death. I stay in bed and sleep to deal with the depression. It's just easier this way, or at least it seems to be.
I wonder who she is to these kids.
Something as simple as taking up a new hobby turned into a nightmare for me last year. My boyfriend and I decided to take scuba diving lessons. I geared up with all the equipment, face mask on, oxygen tank on my back, stepped off the side of the pool into 15 feet of water.
I think she's the husband's sister.
To the bottom from all the weight I was carrying. Normally you'd remember to breathe and begin to. I had studied for all the weeks leading up to that point, but nothing prepared me for dropping into a body of water and the feeling of being weighted down, unable to breathe, and seeing Michael and Alex's face.
I that would have been hard.
Ripping off my face mask, sucking in water, and not being able to come to the surface from all the weight I was carrying. I was drowning, and I knew in that moment that was the closest I'd ever come to knowing what my nephews had endured and how
Cinderella, good to see you.
And scared their last moment had to have been. Something as simple as taking up a new hobby was yet one more thing Susan was taken from me. In over 25 years, I have found myself finding comfort going to the cemetery where the boys are buried, beside our older brother. I go there often.
Oh, that's even sad.
Their graves, where people have left trinkets or gifts and I talk to them. I go there when I'm happy. I go there when I'm upset. Rainy days, sunny days, cold days and hot days. It doesn't matter. It brings me peace just being there. But as a result, I'm not able to bring myself to move away from Union County because now I don't want to leave them. We have missed Michael and Alex's kindergarten graduations, numerous birthdays, birthday parties, summer vacations, Easters, along with annual Easter egg hunts at Meemaw's, Thanksgivings, Christmases, football, soccer, baseball games, proms, high school graduations, possible marriages, and births of their own children. We don't know because they never had a chance.
I'm not wearing mascara today,
They never had a chance to
I
live a
start
life of
crying.
their
I
own.
won't look like Tammy Faye Baker.
Susan took that from them. She took that from us all. And now she wants a chance to be free after only serving 30 years.
Hell no.
No. Life should mean life.
I agree.
I'm respectfully asking you to please deny her request for parole. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think anytime it comes with the death of a child, it should be automatic death penalty, period.
I do too. Here we go. She gets applause too. Because her statement was really good. First, I thought it was going to be a little bit like, okay, it's all about her. But then when I realized who she was and what was she saying, I understood. Okay, now I get it. Okay, I think David is going to speak next. Let's see. All right. Let me go get this going again. Here we go.
I apologize if I get a little bit emotional.
It's okay.
I drove down from Detroit
Oh,
on
no.
Monday night, which was Halloween before of that week. And a young man, middle-aged man then, I'm an old man now, but the boys never got to. As Becky said, they missed a lot. They missed their life. Today they would be in their 30s. David would probably be a granddad. The boys were still here. I took my sister out to the lake yesterday, and it's a beautiful drive out there. I was just thinking, all that time she had time to change her mind, to
You're
stop
right.
and turn around and not go through with it, but she did. And then the boys were gone. A year later, I came back down for the trial. Tommy Polk did a good job. They proved that she was guilty. During the sentencing trial, they came back and recommended life. Tommy had argued for the death penalty. The family was for death penalty. They come back and recommended life. But we said, well, we'll live with it. You know, she'll have to live with it every day for the rest of her life. So we were satisfied with life, but we do not want a parole. We were against any parole for her. And then two other items going back 30 years, the Friday morning after.
Oh.
Apologize.
It's hurting my heart too to listen to him. He's gonna cry.
But the Friday morning after, David, his dad, my brother's wife, and I, the four of us, were sitting at Holcomb Funeral Home in Union and discussing the funeral arrangements. David asked to see the boys, and Mr. Holcomb had a funny look on his face, and he said, "Mr. Smith, could I see you?" So we went out, and he said, "You know, your nephew can't see the boys." And he told me why. He said, "You know, the boys were in the water for 9 days."
Yeah.
So I went back and told David, I said, "You know, it's better that you don't see the boys." And I think deep down he understood why.
It's still hard to accept.
The next day, Saturday, three of us, David, his dad, and I went out to the Bougainville United Methodist Church Cemetery and to look where the boys are going to be buried. And David's brother, Danny, who had died 3 years earlier, was buried there. David wanted his boys buried next to his brother, their uncle. But the way the cemetery was laid out, there was no room for the boys to be put next to Danny.
Mm-hmm. This is hard to watch, isn't it, Sprinkle?
So I found the cemetery custodian and asked him if it were possible to move Danny. And he said, well, yes, if that's what the family wants, we can move Danny. So I went back and saw my brother. Said, David wants the boys to be next to their uncle. Would you have a problem if we moved Danny?
Mm.
And he said no. So
I think I would have
if you
agreed
go
to
out
it as
the
well.
Cemetery, you'll find that Danny and the boys are side by side.
Oh man, that hurt. Okay, that'll make you cry, I'm telling you.
Is
Wow.
anyone else wish to speak?
Come on, David.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So as David's wife,
Oh.
I have stood by him for the last 30 years and watched his pain, his suffering, his dark days that you cannot imagine. It's been hard as a loving wife to stand back and watch him suffer the pain that he has gone through. To not want to get out of bed some days. To not be able to get out of bed. Because the pain was so much for him. And for 30 years, we had thought this day would never come. But yet here we are. I don't feel that it's time for her to be let out because she took 2 lives. She didn't just take 1. She took 2 precious little boys that we haven't been able to watch grow up. And as Becky stated earlier, all the things that we've missed out on because of them not being here, all the things they missed out on growing up in and doing.
This does hurt your heart now.
And for her to be in prison for the last 30 years, you would think that she would have thought about what she's done. She would have said, I'm sorry. But she hasn't said, I'm sorry. She hasn't even called him. She hasn't even told him.
Well, I think she's not allowed to talk to him.
Much less the world. For 9 days, all I can think about is how much she lied and manipulated everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world. I watched it and believed her myself.
That had to hurt.
I wanted her to be telling the truth. But to be betrayed by her lies. And that just makes me feel like if she could do that then, whatever she's told you today, I'm sure were probably lies as well. Because she has shown in her last 30 years what she does in prison. She's all about herself. It's all about what she can do to make her life better. Michael and Alice didn't get a chance at life. They were forced the death penalty.
She should be too.
She took that from them. The lives of this family has been forever changed. It caused us to be a little overprotective of our now daughter. A little bit more than we probably should have been.
I'm glad he has another daughter.
Because we were afraid something might happen to her. It's changed the way we look at life. It's changed the way that we look at everybody. Who can I trust? For a long time, I didn't trust a lot of people. I had to be careful, around certain people. I didn't know if I could trust them or not. All because of her lies. So to give this family some peace, it would be best if Susan stayed behind bars and stay in prison for the rest of her life.
We agree.
I respectfully ask you to keep her in. Thank you.
Golly. I think David.
Does anyone else wish to speak?
Come on, David.
For Mr. Smith. Sheriff, anyone?
Forgive me.
Ooh. I think I'm going to go past. I want to hear what he has to say.
It's going to be pretty redundant.
Hang on. Let's see. I think he's. Hang on. All right, here we go. There we go. What we want to hear right here.
He is still so broken.
Madam Chairman, members of the
Even if it's 30
committee.
years, I mean, you know yourself to think about it every
Been a
day.
tough 30
Yeah.
years. I'm not here to speak about what she's done in prison. You all have the records and accounts of all that. I'm just here to advocate on Michael and Alex's behalf and as their father. God gives us free choice. And she made free choice that night to end her life. This wasn't a tragic mistake. It wasn't something that she didn't mean to do. She purposely meant to end her life. I never have felt any remorse from her for it. She's never expressed any to me. I never seen it on paper. You've heard, she changed my life for the rest of my life that night. Some for the better, some for the worse, but what she did, not only to Michael and Alex, she came pretty close.
Yeah.
To causing me to end my life because of the grief that she brought upon me.
I can see that.
But thankfully she didn't. I understand back in 95 that through the state's law, life in prison meant 30 years to life. And now that's different, but at that time, that's what counts. I understand that.
Wow.
But ultimately, to me, that's only 15 years per child.
Oh, boy.
Her own children. It's just not enough.
Amen.
And then to put them through this every 2 years thereafter, that's just cruel.
Yeah.
So I'm asking
It is
that
horrible.
you please.
Because that 2 years
Not
will go
her
by in a
parole
blink of
today.
an eye.
Yeah, because it's in November 26th.
And hopefully
Yeah,
in the
it'll go by
future,
in a
but
blink of an eye.
specifically today. Not let her
It
out.
should be at least every 5 years, if anything.
I miss them very much. And I love them very much. And I will be here every 2 years going forward.
Amen.
To ensure that your death doesn't go in vain. Thank you.
Thank you.
Poor man.
That's heartbreaking. And you and I both know you do, because we've been there, but our circumstances were different, however happened. But you do think about it every single day. And I'm telling you, if I had to go fight a parole board for this every 2 years, I don't know if I could even manage on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So, and I understand he has another child, Ugh.
Yeah, but the amount of grief he shows reminds me of the amount of grief I felt at the same time my son died.
Yeah.
And not that I don't think about it every day. I do. I don't think about it every minute of the day like I used to.
Right.
It used to be every minute of the day.
Right.
It's every day. He crosses my mind. But I've learned to deal with it better. And I'm not walking around with that profound grief like this man still shows 30 years later. He still shows the same amount of grief that I'm sure he showed when those kids were taken.
Because it's right back in his face again. We don't, or I know I don't have that kind of a situation where I'm having to worry about, is this person, and all that. That's very different than what he's living with. But I just feel terrible but she's sitting over there like she deserves to get out. Like, what do you mean they didn't grant my parole? I've done 30 years. I don't understand.
And throwing a big old hissy fit after the fact.
Right. That's right. You know what we're going to play next? I'm going to go over here and we're going to go out to, hang on a second. We're going to pull up the, Boho brought up a very interesting thing that we need to watch. And that is, what was the name of it? The
behavioral panel.
The behavioral panel's discussion on her, because I have always enjoyed theirs and I would like to see what they said. Here we go. All right. So this is going to be, 13 chapters? Whoa. Susan Smith, behavior panel. Okay, well, we'll just start with it. Let's go for it because it's 3 years old and why not? Let me see what we can come up with. Okay. Let me
speed it up a little bit, maybe.
Oh, that's loud.
Yeah, speed it up a little bit, maybe.
Damn, that's loud. Okay. Okay, here we go.
To children by
Full
putting them in the car and pushing down a ramp into a lake and they drown.
Okay.
So it's tough finding videos on these, but Greg, tell us what you found.
Yeah, so most of these videos occurred during the 9 days that she pretended someone had hijacked her car or carjacked her and taken her children, tied in 2 back seats, and she actually pushed them down a boat ramp and they died in the car and were found later after she confessed. This video, as Scott said, is not the best quality video, but it's all there is. And this is a case that's 20 years old. We've had many requests for this. Every time we bring up a murdering mother, this one comes up.
I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't do anything but think about them.
I don't even see any wet tears. Do you?
I just want to hug them and tell them I love them.
Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, so right off the beginning of this, it might be true that she wants to hug them. She wants to do this. She wants to do that. But she's eye blocking. There is not a single bit of grief. There's no concern, nothing in the forehead. There's no snot, no tears. It's the worst kind of fake cry. It's Scott, I'm so sorry. You really don't like what I did. That's all it is. This is garbage. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you. So this eye closure is not from the crying. This is exactly what you just said, Greg. This is avoidance. There's no movement here in the chin boss, which we always see when we see shame and grief. There's a hygienic gesture during the crying. And it's not to wipe tears, which is very unusual. So adjusting your hair while crying doesn't look very good. So she's kind of just pushing her hair back there. That's what we call in the behavior business a hygienic gesture. And she said, I just want to hug them. And she has had a tough childhood. And I think there's a baton gesture she does with her hand as she's talking. Her hand's back here. I think it's her left hand. And something that we always look for is things that
I'm just going to say this and we'll go back to it. I mean, full credit to the behavior panel. But I think it's good for us to come back and watch these, because as we watch the other things that are going on right now, the Jack and Lily, the Sebastian Rogers, the Summer Wells, the Devil and Tate cases, we watch these and we watch their family members come on live and on these live talk shows or these YouTube channels and start talking. We can remember back to what these people said about her and what she was doing. It'll help us decide in our own mind what about these other people. So I think it's good for watching this. So here we go.
Don't line up. Scott talks about this in a lot of the other videos when a gesture doesn't really match up with a person's phrases. Desmond Morris called this a baton gesture. And what I think is interesting here is that the gesture doesn't match up with anything that's going on. It doesn't match up emotionally, tonally, like with the tone of her voice or the cadence or the words that she's saying. So I would like to invent a new a name for what we're seeing here where it doesn't match up with anything and just call it gesture arrhythmia. So
I called it illustrator non-alignment or something like that. The word alignment in there for the illustrator, so it's close.
Yep,
very good.
In the past. Yep.
Yeah.
I think this is this gesture isn't associated with sadness or grief or loss or anything there. And that's all I got for this video. Mark, what do you see?
Yep. So I agree. There is what I would call incongruence, but I think you're talking about some extreme incongruence where it just doesn't really match up with anything. So misalignment, arrhythmia, I think they're all good descriptions of that. Here's what jumps out at me. I, them. Then the grooming that you were talking about there, I, them, I. So there's way more I's than them. They're a collective. There's not even any names of the children. So it's very egocentric at this point. The male is very different from the female, different rhythm going on, not joining in with this crying, even if it is, kind of fake. He's not even joining in with anything real or fake here. And I think he gives a sour taste in his mouth as well. So I think there is some strong differences between the male and the female here. Female here, very self-centered in the description there. And the grooming, as you say, Chase, it's just not applicable in this situation at all. Scott, what do you got on this one?
All right. She's moving really slow. This lets us know that there's a lot going on up here. She's thinking through what she's going to say. She's not really experiencing these emotions, so we're not seeing them on her face. She's showing us what she thinks we want to see or should be seeing at this point. When you compare Susan with her husband, do this throughout all these videos when he's in there too. Dramatic. I remember when this happened, and I remember when she got busted, or soon before she got busted, because we'll see a video. I'll tell you that story when we get to that video, because I'll never forget that day. And everything is based on feel sorry for me. It's all about me, and just feel sorry for me. You're right, Mark. It's me. It's all about me at this point. And when you turn the sound off, as you'll see in all these videos, if you'll do this, she looks like she's retiring from a job somewhere, or these are the same faces you see and the same emotions you don't see, that you're not seeing when someone's retiring or someone is leaving a job and they're telling everybody goodbye. Yeah. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look like somebody who's grieving over their children.
See, I agree with him on that.
It doesn't look like that at all. The stress we're seeing is when she's moving slow and not looking up the camera and not connecting with anyone. So these are we're seeing a bunch of stress on her, rightfully so, because she's not telling the truth here, but she's sort of creating this. I think she had a pretty good idea of what she was going to say, but that was it. I don't think she rehearsed this at all before it came down to game time for showtime for her. All right.
Scott, I disagree with one thing you said fully.
What?
There's a lot going on in her head. I disagree.
No, she's kind of in your head.
Okay, I stand corrected.
I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't do anything but think about them.
What? Sure. Look at it.
I just want to hug them so bad and tell them I love them.
Awful.
I want to say to my babies that your mama loves you so much, and your daddy, these whole families love you so much. And you guys have got to be strong.
Oh my God.
Because you are, I just know, I just feel in my heart that you're okay. But you got to take care of each other. And your mom and dad are going to be right here waiting on you when you get home.
I'm going to go first on this one because it goes back to that video, our last video when I was telling you about something happened. When this happened, when this video came out, there are two versions of this video. I spent all night last night looking for the second version of it. And it's a wider shot with everybody, and it's got family members and other people in it. And she's talking, her eyebrows are up. Look at everyone else. They show concern. Their eyebrows are down like this. They're thinking, oh my Lord, what's happened? That's when this is before we even had cell phones, or before I had one anyway. My phone started ringing, and it was everybody I knew going, Did you just see that on the news? Did you just see Susan Smith? I was like, yeah. We're all like, holy smokes, man, she's going to the pokey because she did this. And when you watch this again, when you watch the replay, at least look at her husband. That's really the only one you can see in here. Look at his eyebrows. That's what hers should be doing, showing concern. She shows no concern. And again, this is all about her. The content is.
See, I think on maybe day 2 that David did not believe her anymore. And so when you watch these little snippets here when he's standing beside her and she's making these comments and everything, you can see the look on his face is like unbelievable. Pain, and he's not really believing what she's saying, but he can't say anything. I mean, it's very strange. Here we go.
It's all focused on her, on me, on I. Listen to what she's saying. No brow movement in there. No expressions really of anything. Nothing much moving at all. And there's no plea to the kidnapper. And she's telling these little children, one of them is 3 and the other one is 1.5 years. And she's saying, look, take care of each other. Really? Have you ever said that to a 3-year-old and the other one, you two take care of each other? Are you kidding me? If they saw it, your mother's going to, she stepped in it here. So, no anger, no nothing. We're seeing none of the emotions or expressions we should be seeing here. So that's a lot. And her eyes, especially with her eyebrows, they shouldn't be up. They should be down. She should be focused and telling whoever's got her children that they're going to find them and they need to bring
quickly. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to think back about this. I wish I could make 2 different screens and show 2 different things. But when you watch her and you think about Sebastian's mother, and I'm not saying anybody's guilty of anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying when you watch their behaviors and you see their reactions, and then what does it look like? Does it look the same? Does it look like there's some story that's been told, but it's not really the whole truth? I mean,
it looks like there's no true grief.
There's no true grief. That's right. That's what I see. No true grief. So here we go.
Bring them back. That's what should be going on there. Okay, Chase, what do you got?
Even better. I fully agree with that. She met this alleged person who did this. She spent time with this person face to face. So that even makes it a worse case for the vanishing perpetrator. And what we're seeing here, there's showing of this more eye contact avoidant behavior, which is what she's doing. This is not avoiding to stop herself from crying at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to note that she does this while her eyes are staying at kind of 5 o'clock. Because you can see where her eyes are looking at a certain direction there, which suggests internal dialogue and not any emotion going on. And when does the chin boss move? It moves a couple of times here. It moves when she's talking about herself and how good she is as a mother. And while she's saying a lot of this stuff, we have lip licking. There's right at the end here, lip licking. There's lip retraction. Lip licking is to make ourselves look better. Lip retraction is typically a need for reassurance right there at the end. And there's a complete lack of emotion. So I want you to go look and see what's missing here. If she had met and witnessed a person take her children, what's really missing from this conversation? What's being hidden? And this is what's being hidden from this is the perpetrator. So when there's data being hidden, that's a huge red flag. Should be for anybody. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll take it a step further. She didn't just meet him, she described him, even had an artist draw a picture, and it was all BS. It was all made up. But here we see no grief, no concern. She stumbles through words because she's trying to think of what to say. Interestingly, Scott, you say her brows aren't down, they're up, but they're not even up. They're just flat. They're emotionless. That's even worse. If she was going like this or shock or something, we might feel good about it. The only time I see any concern in her brow at all is when she says, I know you are okay, and her brows do something odd. You get a little flash of something right between her brows because she knows he isn't. Now, we often will talk about lip licking and that, but Desmond.
I just have this compelling feeling I need to go out and get a little snippet of Sebastian's case and show just a moment of KK talking, right? And then go back and look at her again and the way they're talking. You want to do that? I mean, it
Has
take me just a minute. Yeah.
Has behavioral done anything on her?
I don't know. Let's go look.
On Katie?
Come back to this, but I do want to go see. Hang on a second. Let's see if they've done anything.
You know, we go off on our tangents. That's normal.
We can't help ourselves. Okay, hang on a minute. Let's go. Katie Proudfoot. And maybe nothing at all. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Hey, right here. Now this is going to be a little different.
Today we're going to break down and analyze the behavior of.
All right. Now, this is going to be Sebastian Rogers' case right here, but it's also the behavior panel because I want to look at what he says about these two, and then we're going to go back over here to Susan Smith and compare. I know we're started on one thing, but I just feel like we need to watch this. So hang on. All right.
The parents of a little fellow named Sebastian Rogers. Craig, why don't you tell us about the videos we're going to watch?
Yeah, so Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old missing teen who is somewhere on the autism spectrum. We'll learn that from the parents as they talk about it. He was last seen on February 26th. He left the house with no shoes, took a flashlight only. When we say left, we don't know how or when or with who or if with who. So we're going to watch this video and work through it. This investigation, this has now become an investigation. It was a massive search for several days, and we're going to look at the parents' first interview on 7 March of 2024.
So first, just express, I can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
All right.
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Not anyone.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Always. He's going to walk through that door.
Okay.
And this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
That boy's going to have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
I don't understand the smiling.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, so let's first start by talking about there's so much information, disinformation, misinformation out there about this case that what we're going to have to do is rely on what we can see. So what we're not doing is telling you what the facts are any more than we have learned from this channel or that channel. In the beginning, there were people saying that the father was left the night before. And then there are people who say had been in Memphis for 2 weeks, his stepfather. So there's a ton of stuff here. And what we're going to do is tell you what we see. Some of you are going to be irritated by it. That's okay. That's part of it. But what I want to start with is saying this guy's a tower crane operator. You know what a tower crane is? It's you climb up a really big ladder and operate a crane. You're moving stuff around over people's heads all the time. So if he's not as flappable, not as shaky, doesn't bother me because I think, okay, here's a guy who does something that's kind of high stress for a living. That part's one thing. But what I am going to do is compare him to him, not him to me or him to Mark or him to Scott or him to Chase. We're going to look at what we see in him and look for deviations. in the beginning, she's doing an adapter that is awfully close to what I usually refer to as transfer from a True Crime Workshop, where a person makes themselves emotionally unavailable to you by some kind of movement, by too much overwhelming emotion, but she isn't unaffected. She's available. So don't take that out of your mind that just because she's swaying means she's doing something. It means she's comforting self, because that release of nervous energy is comforting. There's a clear handoff from her to him. And if you don't think that's a handoff, you're not paying attention to what they're doing. That doesn't mean that she said, if I cry, if I laugh, if I do, you need to do this. It means that he sees that she needs that relief. Could be scripted, don't know. But his language in there is awfully wooden and awkward, which tells me that this is probably when they were thinking about, what are we going to say? He's going to say it's been an emotional roller coaster, because the language seems awkward. It doesn't seem accurate or upfront. It's okay, because that's what people do. There's also a couple of other little bitty pieces of body language, and I'll go to something else, let you guys cover the rest. But he does that's fair, body language when he's asked the question that he should have considered about, I forget exactly what it is. Oh, yeah. When she says, there's still hope, right? And he's like, oh yeah, there's hope. I should have said that, should have thought of that. That's what I see in that body language. There is, however, some really interesting body language when they talk about friends. And when they talk about a lot of people coming back, he's going to have more friends than he's had in the past. And her lead into that, the stress on that word friends, makes me wonder, was there some kind of an altercation about his access to people that she feels guilty for? She feels something about, because that comes up pretty strong in both their body language and in her stressing of the body language, or of the word. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, and to mirror Greg, we're here to analyze the behavior only of Sebastian's parents. And first and foremost, I want to emphasize that there's an outpouring of community support for Sebastian, and our focus is solely on understanding the behavioral dynamics of what's going on and how it might contribute to Sebastian's getting back home. So this is not about assigning blame or guilt. So we're just doing an opinion here to help in any way that we can. So with this rocking back and forth, I think it's a self-soothing behavior that people very often exhibit when they're under a lot of stress or they're going through some high level of anxiety. It's a way for our body to comfort itself in the absence of external comfort. And then there's a smile when she turns to her husband here. And this is likely disbelief, not some kind of joy or happiness about the moment. This is why we talk about context and when those behaviors occur. It's so important. And for now, I'm just going to assume it's baseline until I see more with this rocking and stuff. And when she says he's going to walk through that door, or no, he says this, when he's going to walk through that door, there's a lip pursing behavior right there, which is a little unusual. We see this kind of lip pursing. And this is most often a nonverbal sign of disagreement or disapproval. And sometimes it's like a person's holding back something they don't want to say, or they're expressing doubt about what they just said. And they're not looking at each other, and they're not responding to each other's statements. And I think this could be a sign that...
You know what? It's almost like saying yes while your head is shaking no. That is what I see that like. We'll keep going. I think it's interesting the way they're talking about this. And it is, again, I'm not blaming anybody because I don't know. I don't know that anything that's been put on the internet is true or not true. I just think it's important to keep their names out there and pray they get found. So let's keep going.
There's no rehearsal, but it could also indicate there's something going on between them, like some emotional drama, which I'm sure there is, especially if Sebastian's missing and they're both innocent. And in the videos we've seen like this one, where we do know the outcome, this behavior is more common in people who are innocent, but there could be more to see here. And I think this single behavior doesn't spell anything definitive. I'm not hearing his name mentioned yet, but if I hear minimal mention of a missing person's name, which you've heard us talk about before, and there's no other indicators, like big piles of indicators that indicate deception, it's just a data point. So I keep that in my back pocket until I see a cluster of behavior. Scott, what do you got?
All right. Thanks, man. I agree with you. I'm seeing a lot of the same things you guys have seen so far. But right out of the gate, there's a little something with each of them that bothered me a little bit. like we were talking about before, doesn't mean they're innocent, doesn't mean they're guilty. Nothing. I'm just telling you what I see. We're just telling you what we see. He shows no emotion toward her whatsoever. It's a flat effect and no grief, no concern. And he looks really rested. And so that rocking she's doing back and forth. We see this throughout all the videos we're going to see today. What we'll look for during this, pay attention to this, is fascinating the way this works. You'll see them rock in tandem a few times, especially at the beginning of the first one to answer. As she's rocking, he'll start rocking with her. So he's matching her rocking. And I'm sure, like what you were talking about, Chase, the emotional thing between them is she may have just sealed herself off. She's probably in such a big upheaval of emotion. She's short with him. He's trying to be cool because she's worried about a kid. Is what I would think. That's what I took out of that. Her eyes are red. She's not rested. She looks like she should look. And that upheaval emotion that we see, she's suddenly reliving that horror. I always talk about that on here, how we're not seeing that. So that's one of the things we're seeing with someone who we haven't seen with people who aren't innocent. She's got a new Kleenex. Now, if you remember, the last person we looked at that was crying and all that stuff, constantly wiping their eyes and doing their nose with the same Kleenex. And it's just this balled up little ball. Hers isn't, it's new. And notice how many times during these videos, she doesn't wipe tears and she doesn't wipe her nose. She only does it a couple of times because those are the times that she needs it. People who are faking this usually are under the impression, I should have tears coming out, so I'll keep doing this. And notice when she uses that Kleenex here at the first, where she just does it on the top of her nose. So I thought that was interesting as well. Not saying she's innocent, not saying she's guilty, but these are just things that I'm noticing anyway. And then she's not looking at him at all. Doesn't look at him at all, but he does look at her as they go through. So, all right, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, very much the same. Look, time has passed since they had, notified the police, and this interview is happening. Maybe as much as, what do you think, Greg, like 8 days or something like that?
8 days, 8, 9 days.
Around about that. Around about that. Okay, so look, it's time for them to organize a story together if they wanted to. So, look, they could organize a story together. What they can't organize is the synchronicity of their movement. That choreography would take a lot of rehearsal, and it's consistent. She rocks back and forth 3 times. He breathes in and out. There's this waltz timing going on throughout. You can't rehearse that stuff. They're absolutely in synchronous movement. That would suggest, just as you're saying, Scott, that there is a shared experience, a shared emotion. If there wasn't anything shared, it would be very hard to organize that subtle synchronous level of
one thing I did miss, though, was that they do look at each other in that one. I for a second I thought we're looking at number 2. They look at each other for about 2.5 seconds on this one. So sorry about that. Sorry to jump in, but I had to make sure I said that.
Sure. They also talk about hope. Chase, to your point of there is something unsaid. There's a possibility here of a loss of hope and a sense of hope at the same time, having to balance the two things together, hold those two ideas. You've got to remain hopeful at the same time. You may be losing hope. So I think they talk about hope, though. There's some closed lips there from the male, from the father. He uses the idea of that boy rather than maybe she does as well. We're not often throughout this going to hear Sebastian named, often called that boy. I would suggest that's more likely cultural than them trying to distance themselves. It's more likely a term of endearment. That's all I got on that one. Early days, but looks to me pretty good from moment one, just on the synchronicity that they have together, which is tough to organize. That they could have organized a story. That's all I got on that one.
Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and we're going to go back to, let's go back to what we were watching with Susan Smith. Okay. What about it's going to? I'm going to go up here and do it like this. Go back to Susan Smith in the behavior panel. It's interesting how they talk about these two. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Enter. Okay, now.
Desmond Morris talked about something called a tongue jut, and he said it's baby's first way to reject something or something distasteful to push out. We're going to see her do the Morris tongue jut, not just this time, but other times too. When she talks about your mama and your daddy, and she goes like that, that's a Morris tongue jut all day. Then she bites her lip as she draws it back in. And I think that might be containment or an adapter. This is ugly. There's nothing good in anything she's doing. And to your point, Scott, the husband looks just like he's out of touch with everything. Now, they're estranged before she does this. One thing you should know is they believe that the reason she disposed of her children is because somebody she had an affair or at least a starting relationship with didn't want children. Sound familiar? Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's missing for me, Chase, and, whatever's missing for all of you, and, put it down there. But it's all eye block as far as I can see. So there's zero, from this angle, for me, there's zero eye contact with that potential audience who might have information on where her kid is. I would expect, and if it were me, to be making a lot of eye contact with the public and trying to get information across is, here's who we're looking for. And if you know anything, all of those standard things, I'm getting none of that. The lip licking, the biting as well. They're very out of the ordinary for what we saw from her before. So they kind of come out of nowhere. That rings alarm bells. It's around when you get home. So there's something about that push on when you get home, and the lip bite there. That's alarming for me as well. Biggest alarming thing for me is when I usually see, a couple or a mother or a father or any kind of, primary caregiver who is in this situation, the emotions collide. It's quite complex. There's a lot going on because they're trying to get information across as well. They've got the job of trying to contact the audience. They've got this job of trying to hold themselves together while doing that. Their mind is in 1,000 places trying to understand what might be happening with this kid here. Regardless of what emotion she's doing or isn't doing, it's super simple what's going on. It's too simple as far as I'm concerned. Now, often what we get is with this collision of emotions, it's quite complex, and often observers will look at it and go, there's something up there. There's something up because it's not easily understandable. I usually expect it to not be easily understandable because this is a situation that no human being on the planet has rehearsed for. They haven't had that moment of, well, you know what? When my kids go missing, here's how I'll handle my feelings. Here's how I'll understand this situation. Well, she's handling herself in a very simplistic way here. That rings alarm bells for me. That's all I got on that one. Have we all been? Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
I want to say to my babies that your mama loves you so much, and your daddy, these whole families love you so much. And you guys have got to be strong because you are. I just know, I just feel in my heart that you're okay, but you got to take care of each other.
Because they're in heaven, right? Yeah.
And your mom and daddy are going to be right here waiting on you when you get home.
I'll be getting a haircut this week, and this hat will come off.
He said no, he didn't have time because they were in car seats, and it was going to take time for me to get them out of the car seat. And they just told me, he said, but I won't hurt them. And he just took off. But he had a gun. And my big thing is they were screaming, hollering, crying. And
you know that.
I'm just scared that he just lost his patience or something.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Oh, boy, that's bad.
So let me tell you that when people go through trauma, especially something like losing a child, they're going to have really mixed emotions. And Mark, you're really good at pointing out that not everybody reacts the same. I think what you see, though, is a lot of difficulty containing emotions. There will be things bleeding all over a person's face from under this kind of duress. There should be some negativity in their forehead and that kind of thing, but we can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. What we don't see usually in a person who has experienced what she has experienced is this normal kind of conversational tone. because there'll at least be some stress to the voice and those kinds of things. There's no storyboard on her face at all. Again, there's no grief, no concern, no anxiety, no stress. She's telling a story. This is rehearsed and prepared in as much as she could. And you can see she'll look over and try to recall a couple of words. We're going to see her do that again. And then she throws out details. Again, I always say the truth doesn't need support, but lies love a crutch. This is a crutch. Well, he had a gun, and the kids were in the back seat and they were strapped in. So he didn't want to take the time. And there's that. And Desmond Morris tongue jut again. Here we go. Blink rate goes up. She's getting a little amusement in her face or something, like she thinks she's getting away with it. And the only time she shows any emotional accessing is when she says screaming, hollering, and crying. And she looks down and to the right. My guess is that's real. That's exactly what she heard, is them screaming and yelling as they're banging on the windows trying to get out of the car as she pushed them in. And then she uses the most illogical thing I've ever heard. He had a gun, so I had to let him take him.
What?
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Listen to what she said. She's talking about this conversation she had with this guy. He said, he had a gun. He said he was, he wouldn't hurt him. There's no conversation during things like that. If this happened this quickly, and this guy's adrenaline, if this supposed guy, his adrenaline is going to be just through the roof, so is hers. And she's going to be trying to protect the children. She's not going to be trying to have this conversation about stopping him from taking the children. She's going to be saying, don't know, those kind of things, as she crawls back there and tries to protect the children. That's why a lot of times these things get real ugly really fast with the person that gets, you always hear a woman injured or a man injured, whether a child was in the car, because they don't want him to take the child. I mean, they have the car or whatever, but there's no conversation going on there. There's no room for that. There's no time for that. It's completely made up. And we're seeing confidence here, I believe, because she knows there's nothing that she can get in trouble for at this point. She's rehearsed this answer. You're right, Greg. And so we're seeing confidence. She's just saying this. Here's logically why this happened. So it makes total sense to me. I won't say she's not the smartest person in the world. I always say that. But that's why she's so calm, is due to confidence. And you're right, Greg, no concern, nothing. We're not seeing the emotions we should see. She's talking at a pretty good clip too. So everything here, I think she's confident with her answer at this point. I think she doesn't think anything's going to happen to her. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, great. Look, this isn't the vanishing perpetrator here, because she knows for some reason the psychology of this perpetrator. So given that we know this event didn't happen, where's she getting the psychology from? Well, I would suggest it's her psychology. This is a Rorschach test, essentially. This is an ink blot. She's got to create reasoning for why these things happen, and she creates them from her own reasoning. Didn't have time. Going to take time. Mm-hmm. He lost his patience or something. So here's what I'm going to speculate. Don't know anything about this particular crime. First time I've ever come across it. There was some situation that was pushing her time, and therefore that's why she did this act, because she felt crushed by time and something had to happen quickly around this. We hear time stated again and again and again about a situation that didn't happen. She has to be getting that from what's at the forefront of her mind at the time, which is time and patience and running out of time in some way. What we're seeing here in this story is a projection of her own psychology. By the way, that's just speculation. I don't know that for sure, but I'd be willing to give a good gamble on it. Chase, what do you got on this one?
You know how I think we can tell this is rehearsed is she stays past tense the entire time. And lots of people, even smart people, have a very tough time doing that. So I think this is rehearsed that way. There's a huge blink rate spike. Greg, you mentioned it. In the original video, just before this, she was at about 22, and then it spikes to about 79, right when she kind of launches into this memorized story. Yeah. And there's a little bit of lip licking just before this deception story starts talking about this guy. But think about how we use the word just. The doctor says it's going to be a little hair pull or just a little pinch. Or if I say, what'd you do on Tuesday? You said, I just went to work. The word just means that's it. And it's not that big of a deal, and that's it. And that's how we use the word just. So let me just give you a few instances of that here in this one clip. It's just let me take them. He just told me, just took off. Just let him, I can't remember what he said, but there's three more uses of the word just in here. I was just scared, is what she said. And the whole entire thing, she's just using that over and over and over to say that's all there is, to make us just jump over. I've used it twice now, over that story as fast as we possibly can. So that's all I got on that one.
Take them. And he said no, he didn't have time because they were in car seats and it was going to take time for me to get them out of the car seat. And he just told me, he said, but I won't hurt them. And he just took off. But he had a gun and
I mean, think about that. Here's what I'm going to do. What do you think, Sprinkle? Why don't we come back tomorrow about the same time and start back right where we're at right now, and then we're going to jump back over to Sebastian's, and we're going to listen to them analyze the next clip of Sebastian's parents, and go back and forth and see how these two cases, how it looks between the two of them. What do you think?
Yeah, that's good.
Sounds fun, doesn't it? I mean, to kind of get their breakdown, because I mean, when you think about Jack and Lily and some of these other cases,
let's also see if he has one on Jip too.
Oh yeah, let me pull that. Yeah, let me go see. Hang on a second. We'll pull that up right now. Let's see. I'm pretty sure they do.
Of her interrogation, maybe.
Yeah. Here we go.
Or anything on her.
Behavior panel right here.
There we go.
There it is.
Today we're going to talk about Jip.
But I mean, I don't want to let this go. We're going to get off of here because I don't want to keep it under 2 hours. But we can come back and we can talk about all three of them. Comparing the words they're using and how behavior panel sees them, and then also think about Jack and Lily and some of these other cases where we're listening to these people talk.
I mean, we could go down a big rabbit hole on this with Lori, Tatisha, Leilani. There's a huge rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun to just do a little series where we go back and review each one
of
these.
I have seen the one they've done on Chris.
Yeah.
They call him out from the gate. Adam Montgomery, I wonder if they've done him.
Oh yeah, let's go see. Hang on.
Dawn and Candace.
Let's see.
I'm sure they've hit all the big cases. Dawn and Candace too. Right. I'm sure they've hit him.
Right there.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this.
If they've done Monkey's mom, because she's not really controversial. I don't think anybody questions her.
Well, we'll see. Let's go back and we'll look really quick, because I think it'd be fun to kind of come back and look at those cases and their opinions and which ones are alike, how they saw them in the beginning. So I know this is not his real name, but for right now I'm just kind of having it's Michael Vaughn, stupid. I was having a little block.
Brandy Vaughn.
All right. Oh, here. Sorry.
I doubt they've done one on her. I'd be real surprised. Maybe on Stacy, with Michael Vaughn, but I doubt they've done one on Brandy. Stacy, what is his name? Oh, I can't think of his last name.
Maybe I just put in Michael Vaughn case.
Yeah, it's Stacy something. I can't think of the last name. Stacy, I want to say it starts with an L.
Stacy Wanderer. Stacy Wanderer.
Stacy Wanderer, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me pull this back up right quick. Oh, I gotta put behavior panel, stupid. Look, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, it's all right.
You might have to do Stacy Wandra behavior panel. There you go.
Stacy Wander behavior panel.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look, well, that's not the right people, but okay, they might not have one, but I just think it's kind of like,
Yeah, because that one's not so controversial.
Right. So we'll come back over here. So we'll just come back and we're gonna take a look at these things and just do some little comparisons and see what it looks like, because a lot of them people are just very confused and they're like, well, they sound guilty to me, or if you, I don't know. I just think it's fun to compare the professionals, what they have to say, and then compare all of these cases, all of these different people. I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting. Very interesting. So
For sure.
Yeah. Now, if you want to do Gypsy Rose separate from the rest of them, we can do that, because we can always come back
can
to
do that.
Gypsy Rose. You want to do Gypsy Rose later tonight?
We can do it. We can do her another day.
Okay. All right. We can do that. All right. So we'll just plan on coming back tomorrow, and we're going to look at the behavior panel. And we're going to look at Susan Smith and compare with the Sebastian Rogers case, and maybe Adam Montgomery in there. And we're going to do Gypsy separate. That sounds great. Okay. So let's call it a day.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call later. Thank you for stopping by. We always appreciate it. If you're going to listen on when you're going home, driving, whatever, whenever you come in, when you go out, just go ahead and hit that thumbs up. I never remember to ask. I always forget, and then I have to put a little message out there. So anyway, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Sprinkle.
Thanks. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to what?
To go hug your babies. That's damn right.
Hug your
That is
babies.
damn
Yeah.
right. That's right. Okay. See you later, guys. Bye.
All right. Bye.